to building your community as an author, how do you do that before you have a book ready to be published, before you have a buy link, before you're even done writing your manuscript? Is this something that's possible? Is it something you should do? And then how can you do it? I recently posted a TikTok, and this is something I talk about a lot on all the platforms, about how you can be creating your author platform before you even have a book ready and out in the world. But there are some things we need to talk about to make sure you're protecting your author network and protecting your author standing. So if you are somebody who is brand new and you don't have any books out yet, maybe you're just working on your manuscript, you should not be identifying yourself as an author. You should not be telling people I have a book coming, because if it's just in the process, it means they can't buy it. It means you're going to spend months or years working on this manuscript, and hopefully, fingers crossed, your book goes out into the world. But by the time your book eventually gets there, you will have lost your audience because you burned them out by saying, I'm an author, when you don't have a book ready. So I highly recommend that you keep that top secret. And if you talk about a manuscript, if you're trying for a traditional contract before you are pitching and have sold it to a company, you could potentially lose that contract because they can't control the narrative. So we want to keep that top secret. Let that be your top secret special project, but know that you're going to start building your platform now so that you already have an audience when your book comes out. With that in mind, what I want you to do is jump on your social media platforms, and I want you to become an expert in the book industry, specifically in the genre that you're going to be writing in. I want you to become the ultimate authority on recommendations for that specific genre, because when you are that person who is trusted to give recommendations for that genre over and over and over again for months, for years, for however long it takes, you are going to be the person that everybody's actively watching. So when it becomes your time to put your content out in the world, to put your book out, to have that buy link, to make those sales, to be that official published author, you will already have a built-in audience. So your goal is now to create community and collaboration and show that you are an industry leader in that specific area of the book world. So let's take a look at how that could work inside of what you're doing on your platform. And if you've got questions or comments, now's a great time to drop them. We can talk about anything related to publishing or marketing. I would love to get those questions answered for you. But when you're building your own community, you want to make sure that you are developing content that shows that you are a trustworthy source of information, news, and knowledge in that area. And this, well, we're talking specifically about the book industry, could go for any industry as well. If you're going into an industry or a niche or whatever, you want to build up your authority first without saying, oh, I'm going to try to sell you something. You want to make sure that you become a trustworthy source. So you're creating TikToks and Instagram and YouTube videos about really good quality books in that area. Things that you've read, things that you recommend, things that you learned from it. You can actually start to bring up different points on, this had taught me to be better at doing this, or this is a really good example of this type of trope. This is a really good example of how to construct this particular type of scene, and I learned a lot from it. You can be very educational, very relational, very conversational on the content that you are putting out there. But your goal is to develop conversation and become that authority. So you're going to be talking a lot about the industry. You can talk about good examples of things. You can talk about books that you love that other people might like as well. You can help to educate them on why or why not they may not or would love a specific book that they might be considering reading right now. By building up that authority and by putting out tons of content in the industry, you are getting like-minded people to notice you and then to follow you and to be in collaboration and community and conversation with you. So you're pulling in people who are going to be in the right mindset to eventually buy your book when that comes out, but you want to make sure that you are building up that authority, because then it's an easy sell later on. However, if you start off by saying, I'm going to eventually sell you something, I'm here to sell you something, I'm writing a book and I'm going to try to sell it to you at some point, people aren't going to stick around for that. So build up your authority inside of the industry that you want to be in. If it's the book industry, that's great. And become that authority, become the person that everybody goes to. And bonus points for that, you want to make sure that you are also making sure that you're forming collaborations and that you are an authority speaking on these things, because other authors and publishers will come to you then to ask you to market on their behalf. When you start marketing on other people's behalf, you're going to learn very quickly how to market for yourself, very quickly how to do really interesting things inside of the industry. You're going to learn what works and what doesn't, how to market other people's books, how to build up those relationships with higher level people, the authors and the publishers that you will eventually be a part of. And that's going to allow you for a whole range of things that you can do when your book is ready to come out. So making sure that you develop yourself as a reader, as a book authority, but not as an author, is the key to your success for successfully launching your author career when the time comes, when your book is ready, when you have a buy link and people can immediately get their hands on your books or at least get it into their shopping carts so that you don't burn them out in advance. You're seen as a trusted resource for valuable content in that genre or niche, and you are ready to go because you already understand the industry, you already have a community, and you already have connections inside of the industry for when your time comes.